Hello, good morning or good afternoon, depending on when you are watching this webinar. Welcome and thank you for watching. The main goal of this webinar today is to present to you the Pulsate project and the last funding opportunity under the project, the second open call for adopters use cases. So today we'll go through the what, who, and how of the open call. Also, we will be giving some tips on how to apply, and we'll try to answer any questions you may have. Today, my colleague Delia is supporting us with the management of the technical side of the webinar. So if any questions appear during the presentation and you'd like to write them in the chat, then Delia will be able to see and read those at the end of the presentation. So today we'll, as I said, we'll be covering what Pulsate is in a nutshell, the most important information about the second open call for adopters use cases, some tips on how to apply, and also questions and answers. My name is Maria Karpilowska. I'm project manager for Pulsate on behalf of Funding Box, and I am supported in Pulsate by my colleague Mary Orishchuk in the role of project lead. Just to give you very brief information about Funding Box, who we are and what we do. In Pulsate project, we are mainly responsible for the tasks related to open course management, but also Funding Box is a platform with multiple funding opportunities, where we provide, on the one hand, an ecosystem for entrepreneurs, where we share the deep tech know-how, enable connections. We are now one of the largest European deep tech ecosystem. And on the other hand, we provide solutions for corporates and investors, helping with the identification and integration of innovative startups and SMEs. This way, we create what we call the Funding Champions Deal to support the European SMEs and startups who are looking opportunities such as Pulsate. Funding Box is involved in close to 50 projects now, addressing different sectors, with Pulsate taking a stand in the manufacturing sector under the umbrella initiative I4MS, which has been aiming at the digitalization of the European manufacturing industry, where laser and photonics technologies are very, very important, and they are a crucial part of it. Now, coming back to the Pulsate project, the main objective of Pulsate is to promote and facilitate the adoption of laser technologies by European SMEs and mid-caps, which we believe is crucial for the digitalization of the manufacturing industry. We want to reach, through the project, we want to reach the innovators who already work on such technologies, but also the ones who want to adopt it into their processes in different manufacturing industry sectors. Of course, we are also creating a network around all our activities, together with digital innovation hubs, competence centers, other organizations, and investors. The network has its marketplace called the Digital Agora platform, where all services and community related to laser technology are connected through a single entry point. Who is behind Pulsate? Pulsate is a project formed by a consortium of 9 partners, and 6 of those partners are research and technology organizations that specialize in laser technology and photonics. Funding Box is responsible for managing the open call process. EPIC is one of the biggest consortia in photonics responsible for dissemination, and Glasgow is an innovative company responsible for building the Digital Agora platform. Here are some examples of how laser-based technology and additive manufacturing, that's what the LBAAM abbreviation stands for, how they can help the manufacturing process. We will not discuss this in detail in this webinar, but we believe it's important to see and understand how the technology can be important in different sectors that we have predefined here. Of course, this list is not exhaustive, but we think it's a good reference point for the experiments that we are looking for in this open call that can actually represent some of these manufacturing areas. As I've already mentioned, Pulsate's mission is to, in a nutshell, is the acceleration of the design, development and uptake of laser technology by European manufacturing industry. How do we address this mission for the project? Well, among others, we do it through Pulsate open calls. Under Pulsate, 4 open calls are organized, supporting around 62 projects with over 4 million euro redistributed to European manufacturing SMEs and slightly bigger companies. In Pulsate open calls, we have 2 modalities, technology transfer experiments and adopters use cases. Technology transfer experiments as an open call opportunity is closed now. The second open call was closed last year, and now these experiments are in the support program. The focus of our webinar today is the adopters use cases modality. The first support program for adopters use cases closed at the beginning of this year, and today we are focusing on the second open call for adopters. And yes, this is the focus of our webinar today. And as you can see, this is the very last opportunity under Pulsate project. Well, the open call, of course, is just the first step in your adventure with Pulsate, but the ultimate prize is the support program once you are selected. So the benefits for those who are invited to the support program are, first of all, the funding up to 25,000 euro. But then equally important is the support program. Through the support program, which will last 3 months, starting mid-January 2024, Pulsate's ambition is to help you validate if and how laser-based technology will impact your business. And towards this end, selected adopters will confirm their technical and business feasibility for the implementation of the technology in their environment. Who can apply to this open call? First of all, the call is open for individual companies, manufacturing companies that we call technology adopters or end users, who have this high potential use case for the implementation of a laser-based technology into their processes, products, and business models, which means that an applying company should have a clear idea of how laser-based technology can be implemented in their environment. The next thing is the legal status. Applicants should be SMEs or slightly bigger companies. I'll discuss that in more detail in a minute. And also the companies should be legally established in one of the EU member states or associated countries or the UK. So now, what do we understand by the high potential use case for implementation of laser-based technology? First of all, you should be able to relate your case to one of the areas of possible implementation, which you can see listed here. But also, let me give you an example on how the technical and business use case can look like. So if, for example, an applicant manufactures bicycle components and wants to assess whether laser-based technology would help with redesigning an existing part, let's say for weight reduction, or if component material waste can be minimized by using additive manufacturing to make it greener, or if they can offer smaller batches for very specific tailored designs. This is a high potential technical use case. And sorry, in terms of business use case, such a participant of the support program may have a closer look at the market analysis, so to evaluate the market size and potential customer base for such an innovative solution. They will also get a chance to map their value chain, so their clients, competitors, collaborators, and also to look and select and validate a business model that would best fit their solution. In terms of the legal status, which I already mentioned, the eligible companies should be SMEs or slightly bigger companies. So what does it mean and how do we evaluate that? There are two criteria that we look at, the first of them being headcount, and the other one, annual turnover or balance sheet total. The biggest numbers that guarantee that your SME slightly bigger status is confirmed are less than 500 employees for the first criterion, headcount. So this is the maximum. And in the case of annual turnover, 100 million euro or balance sheet total up to 86 million euro. These numbers, of course, comply with the official European Commission guidelines. But also what you need to take into account here is that we look at those numbers in a bigger context. So if you're a subsidiary of a bigger company or a partner or linked enterprise, you should also take it into consideration. And one more thing to be aware of here, RTOs, research and technology organizations who are SMEs or slightly bigger companies are not eligible for this open call. So all these aspects of the legal status, they are included in the guide for applicants and frequently asked questions documents. which you can find on the Open Call microsite. We are going to show you later where exactly you can find those. And in those documents, you can check whether your status falls under the SME or slightly bigger category. And please make sure that in the application form, you declare your factual legal status, because at a later stage, it is thoroughly checked. How about the geographical scope? Well, as we already mentioned, applicants should be registered in one of the EU member states or associated countries, or in the UK. And these are the eligible countries for this open call. And there's another very important aspect worth mentioning here. Pulsate is sharing communication with many other projects that aim to digitalize manufacturing industry under the I4MS initiative. The initiative has already ended, but some of the projects are still ongoing. So if you are coming to us from another I4MS project or have already received funding under Pulsate, you should take into account the funding limits. So the limit is 100,000 euro. It concerns Pulsate, but also SAE projects, Smart Anything Everywhere. So please double check if you have already received funding under one of those projects. Will you not exceed the funding limit with the 25k euro that Pulsate is offering under this open call? If you were to be selected, you always have to remember that you cannot request more funding than the limit of 100,000 euro. Now, I'd like to tell you a bit more on how to apply. We have a dedicated microsite for completing and submitting your application. My colleague Delia will put the address now in the chat. This is our application website, and this is the only place, the only address through which you can apply to this open call. When you click apply now, where the red arrow shows, the application form will open, but it is also very important to look at the read first and get help sections first, where you will find all the documents and additional information. Some other useful tips for applying would be, well, first of all, in order to be able to submit the form, you will need to fill in all the required fields marked with an asterisk. Those fields need to be completed in English. The second very important tip is that we have a deadline for every open call. We have a deadline, and deadline is the deadline. So we strongly recommend that you start working on your application as soon as you decide to apply. Do not wait with submitting the application to the last moment before the deadline. You can submit your application earlier and then edit it to complete the information you want to complete. We know cases when applicants waiting till the last moment to submit could not submit because, for example, their internet connection got down. And these are the cases in which we cannot help you. So please remember, the deadline is 30th of June. It's not very soon. but if you decide to complete the application form, please submit it as soon as you can. In terms of the timeline, so as I've just said, the deadline for the submissions is the 30th of June. Then we will go through a very thorough selection process. That's why it takes so much time. The final results of the open call should be known by the end of October, beginning of November. Then till the end of this year, the selected applicants will have time to sign the agreement with Pulsate Consortium. The agreements are signed by Pulsate coordinator Ayman on behalf of the whole consortium. And then the support program will be launched in mid-January 2024. What does the selection process look like? After the submission, we go through the first step, which is called eligibility check. This is where we check the eligibility criteria, such as your legal status, country of registration, whether you are a technology adopter. So we look at the description you include in the application form, and so on and so forth. All applicants who pass the eligibility check will be evaluated by external, independent of the consortium experts. The experts will look at 3 evaluation criteria: excellence, impact, and implementation. I'll come back to those in a minute. After external evaluation, the next step is consensus meeting, where Pulsate Consortium members discuss all the proposals that pass expert evaluation phase and take the final decisions as to which proposals are invited to the support program. Once you are selected, the last step is the legal check, where we thoroughly look at your legal status. And as I said earlier, it's very important that you declare your factual status in the application form, because the legal check is very detailed. So if your status turns up to be not SME or slightly bigger, you will be rejected from the support program, right? And the last stage is sub-grant agreement signature. So this is the agreement that you will be signing with Pulsate Consortium. Now, coming back to the evaluation by external independent experts. Experts look at 3 main criteria: excellence, impact, and implementation. So how can we describe those criteria? What will the evaluators look at? So under the excellence criterion, they will be looking whether your use case is within the scope of Pulsate. So does it actually represent the adoption of laser-based technology into your processes? And is the potential outcome of your proposal good enough to be selected for implementation assessment? Evaluators will also look at the ambition aspect and whether the expected timeline is realistic, and will also assess whether your proposal represents clear understanding of needs and challenges you will face during the technology implementation. The second criterion evaluated by experts is impact. And here it is again described by 3 sub-criteria. So the first one is value proposition and competition. So here the evaluators will be looking at the future commercial strategy of your company and how it is aligned with your proposal and the demonstration of laser-based technology adoption. The second point, the second aspect is scalability. Is your use case scalable across other industries? And can we say that it has a European dimension? So can we say that it has a potential to accelerate the design, development, and uptake of the technology by European industry, especially SMEs? The last aspect that evaluators look at here are social and economic. So are there any additional impacts, social and environmental impacts, economic impacts that the use case may bring? The last criterion, the third one, implementation, refers to the team, resources needed, and budget. So the evaluators will look at your team, whether your team has anything it takes to be able to execute the implementation of the technology into your processes, whether the team is well balanced and cross-functional. In terms of resources needed, what we ask for in the application form and what the evaluators look at later on is whether your use case defines which aspects you need support with throughout the support program and how Pulsate Consortium can support you. For this, we recommend that you go to the Pulsate project website, actually the digital Agora platform, where you will be able to check services available from Pulsate partners. I'll show you in the next slide how to do that. And the last point under implementation is budget. So of course the evaluators must see that the budget you propose is aligned with the tasks related to 3 months of assessment. Okay, so it has to be just reasonable for a 3-month support program. And of course, it has to respect the funding limits. So coming back to Pulsate services I've just mentioned, which are important for the implementation criterion, this is the address of the website where you can check it. I think Delia can paste it now in the chat if anyone would like to check that. So once you go to this website, please choose Marketplace from the menu and then Partners from the drop-down menu. And this is where you will see a list of Pulsate partners, and by clicking on their profile, you will be able to see what kind of services are available from IMAN, CEA, FTMC from Lithuania, Sintef, our Norwegian partner, Fraunhofer Institute, and also MTC. Okay, so here you'll find all the information you need about the services available within Pulsate Consortium. And in terms of budgets, how do we calculate that? So first of all, you will need to complete the cost categories such as personnel costs, travel costs, consumables, if needed. Then overheads, for overheads, we use the flat rate of 25% for personal travel and consumables. And then an additional category is subcontracting, which can be calculated up to 15% of personal travel, consumables, and overheads. Why do we have this limit of 15%? Because we still want, well, the work under the support program to be performed by the beneficiary mainly. And then the first 5 cost categories sum up to total costs, but the amount you may request from Pulsate Consortium is 70% of total costs. Okay, so just to show you an example, yeah, you can find more information on how to calculate the budget and cost references in the frequently asked questions document. These are the funding limits that we've already mentioned. And here you can see an example of budget calculation for 2 full-time employees for 3 months. And as you can see, total costs are here. They're over 35k euro, but the requested funding is 70% of total costs, but not more than 25k euro. To make this calculation easier for you, we've prepared a budget template that is available again through the Open Call microsite. This is the budget template is an Excel file where you will find all the categories, where you will find the fields to complete, and the budget template will calculate for you the total costs. It will sum up the total costs and also show you the 70% that you can request as funding from Pulsate. So please remember that if the 70% of total cost is higher than 25k, the requested amount will be capped at 25k. If it is lower, then the requested amount will be lower than 25k. All the documents and including the budget template can be found in the Read First section of the Open Call microsite. Dalia, if you could paste the link in the chat box. So as you can see, you will find here the guide for applicants, which is a must-read document when applying to this Open Call. You will also find their frequently asked questions document, where you will find the topics included in guide for applicants, but in more detail, or some information which has not been included in the guide for applicants. So also worth looking at. Under application form overview, you will find the application form in PDF. So it's just for your reference. You can download it, prepare some sections of the application form offline, but please remember that the only way you can apply is through the online application form. Yes, as you can see here, there is budget template also available, and soon we'll be adding the draft for the sub-grant agreement for this for the second adopters open call. Another section of the open call microsite where you can find additional information is Get Help. So there you'll find all the contact details linked to the open call help desk space in Pulsate community on Funding Box platform. You can find there also the email address for Pulsate. Of course, if you have any questions, we recommend that you check first the frequently asked questions document. And if you cannot find the answer there, then please send us an email or post your question in the open call help desk space. In the Get Help section, you'll also find registration links to our 2 remaining webinars. So the second webinar will be held on the 10th of May, and it will be organized together with MTC, our partner technology center from the UK, where you will be able to learn more about laser-based advanced and additive manufacturing assessment. And the third webinar will be held soon before the open call deadline on the 21st of June, and then we'll give you some final tips for your application, and we'll answer any questions you may have at this stage. Right, so I guess this is all we prepared for this first webinar. So as I'm saying, like it's like the who, what, and how, like the ABC of this open call, basic information. But maybe you have some questions which we could answer at this stage.
Yes, Maria. Mark is asking if he can apply for the program if they don't know how to implement laser-based advanced additive manufacturing.
Right. So, as a rule, thank you for this question. As a rule, you should already have a clear idea of how of your use case, or of how you would like to use the laser-based technology in your environment. But if you are still not sure how laser-based technology can help you, you can reach us by email at pulsate.help@fundingbox.com. And we'll be able to offer you some guidance. So if you are not sure, if you have any doubts, please just send us an email, and we'll take it from there. I hope this answers the question.
Okay, the other question is, can we use the grant to purchase different technologies, machines to execute the project?
Okay, thank you for that. This is an important one. So the funding you request from Pulsate is connected and will have to be spent on the tasks executed during the 3 months of the support program between mid-January and mid-April 2024, right? So it cannot be used for the tasks outside the support program and outside the period of the support program. However, if purchasing certain machines or technologies is needed for the correct assessment, for the feasibility assessment, for the assessment of the implementation of the technology, then it can be covered by the requested funding. Yes. Okay, Delia, do we have any more questions?
No.
Okay, all right. So please remember that if anything else seems unclear, or you'd like to get more information, we are here for you, available under pulsate.help@fundingbox.com. Also, I think you will be able to find a lot of answers to your questions in the documents published on the Open Call microsite. Also, you can post your questions in Pulsate help desk space. So there are a lot of communication channels you can use to contact us. And we invite you as well to join the 2 remaining webinars to find out more. That's all for today from us. So thank you very much for your attention, for participation, and we hope to see your applications soon on our platform. Thank you very much.